Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper. Just wanted to go ahead and try my luck at a mobile studio in-vehicle video and join the countless other preppers out there who make videos while on the move, right? And I understand why, because we waste a lot of time in commute that could be used as time to accomplish things like making a video. So that's what I'm going to do today. I did want to bring a topic to light that I think is needing to be touched on, and something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And I think some of that has to do with my exposure to pop culture in the sense of Hollywood film or video games. And what that topic is currency in the post-apocalypse, right? So let's say there's an SHTF scenario and everything goes to hell, and then finally, a year, 2 years, a decade, however long later, people get back to a more of a normal routine of trade, and things are moving away from the barter system, and something needs to be exchanged for a type of currency. So a lot of us out there, myself included, do things like stack precious metals, right? We stack silver and gold because if there's an economic collapse and the US dollar tanks, then we know the precious metals are going to maintain value, if not increase in value. And if there's ever a situation where maybe there's a bank run or the stocks collapse, or possibly there's a power outage or an EMP or something, all of our digital finances aren't going to be accessible, whereas precious metals sitting in our safes at home are going to be able to be used for trade, correct? Well, I like that in theory, and I think it's mostly true. However, I am concerned that because of the amount of our population and society that doesn't actually use a prepper slash survivalist mentality in their daily life to make decisions. Most of the people I know personally, and I'm sure as well, do not invest in precious metals. They do not invest in alternative forms of investments that would be either able to survive an economic collapse or possibly survive an EMP or a complete grid down scenario. So because of that, I'm concerned that, yes, I've got the precious metals sitting at home, but if nobody else in my area, or if nobody else in the realm of trade or anywhere or anything else that is going on in the sense of exchange, has precious metals, the vast majority of people are probably going to move to some kind of a created currency that just works for them, and at that point in our time, I would assume it'd be based on rarity and ease of exchange. So what does that mean, right? So we're not talking about anything digital at this point. We're talking about physical, hands-on currency. And if no one's got gold and silver, then they're going to start figuring something else out to be able to use. And what I mean by that is I'm taking examples from different pop culture items that have kind of tackled this subject for us, but maybe none of us have really paid attention to that concept. So one of the number one pop culture franchises out there that I think addresses it well and probably has some validity to it is Fallout, right? So the Fallout video game series, it's post-apocalyptic, it's post-nuclear war, it's in a different timeline, so it's got an interesting kind of 50s retro vibe to everything they do. But there's a huge war, everybody goes to a dystopic society, and once everyone starts to rebuild, they create a currency. Well, in Fallout, the currency is bottle caps, right? Now, why does bottle caps work? Well, in a post-production society where manufacturing plants have shuttered and there's no one creating things like bottle caps anymore, then something like that is going to be somewhat rare at a certain point. There's a finite amount of bottle caps in the world, so therefore you can put a value on a bottle cap, and at the same time, there's enough bottle caps out there already so that there's enough for people to use it as a currency, rather than it being so rare that only a select few people have their hands on it. At the same time, because of not everyone having precious metals or anything like that, possibly gold could be considered a valuable item still, but it might have to be exchanged for bottle caps in order to purchase other items from other traders and from people who only value bottle caps, because that's what everyone's decided on making the currency, right? So, some people have speculated that might be an ammunition situation where, things like 22 long rifle and 9mm and 5.56 all become a form of currency of their own, but that's still more of like a barter scenario than it is an actual form of currency. So I really thought that Fallout kind of tackling that subject and just putting it in their video game, most likely for flavor, kind of made me think a little bit more about if my investments are for capitalizing on different possible collapses that might lead to gaining value in other asset classes, or if those kind of investments are even necessary at all. Of course, saving money and everything's important, and I'm not trying to advocate you don't do that. And I do think it's good to have a diversified portfolio of different asset classes that you carry. So if one of them tanks, the other one, is still around for you to access. But for an actual dystopic, post-apocalyptic society, it's very possible that the currency might just become something that none of us would have thought it would be. So just something I wanted to bring to light. I don't think that planning on precious metals or other forms of currency like cash or anything like that is a good bet in the sense of it being worth exactly what you think it should be worth at that point in time. But at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily the worst idea to have some. I'm just saying don't put all of your hopes on it, It very well could just turn out to be one of those things where it's just worthless, and yeah, I mean, as long as you consider the concept that most people don't actually store precious metals and don't actually have alternate investments at all, then you have to kind of think that it only makes sense that they'd have to figure out a different type of currency that everybody could agree on, that would work a little bit better instead of something that very small percentage of the population even has. So just my thoughts. I think I'm in town now, so I can start going back to being a normal person and not video recording myself while driving. But I just wanted to kind of share that idea with y'all, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Sorry for the roller coaster ride there, but that was a serious U-turn. And any other ideas of things that might become currencies or something in a post-apocalyptic dystopian society, leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe we should all be stockpiling bottle caps or something like that, just in case. So go ahead and give me a shout out. Please subscribe, and that's Magic Prepper out.